the sterile blue gloves, the don't think you have mate. Who are you calling mate? Who are you calling mate? You are an agent of the state. What are you calling people mate for? What are they cuffing him for? Apart, like, we're sat here like this is a normal thing. What are they cuffing him for? Hello and welcome to the Off the Party Line podcast with me, your host, Mark Williams, joined as I am ever by my wonderful co-host, Mr. Peter Farrington. Peter, how are you doing, sir?
Hey, Mark. Well, to be honest, I'm probably not the best person to ask how I am, because you're probably best off asking Kemi Badenoch and Nigel Farage and Keir Starmer, because, you know, that's how it goes now, isn't it? You let other people tell you how to feel.
Have you not been told how to feel today?
Not today, no. So I've just been waiting.
Yes. No, I think there was news.
Evening now, and I'm like, how do I feel?
Yeah, it was pure cold rage the other day. I don't think it's that today.
No. It was sort of ambivalence yesterday.
Ambivalence, maybe. I think it's nothing to see here was today's instruction, I think.
Right.
Yeah. But I don't know. Nigel Farage hasn't personally told me how to feel. So
yeah,
I might just sit in a state of neutrality for the whole podcast.
Yeah, and then I'm assuming tomorrow it'll be, no, this is happening and it's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's how it normally goes.
Yeah, that's right. For those of you wondering what on earth are Mark on about, we will get to that later on in the episode. There's some episodes, Pete, there's some weeks where, you know, we do try and do the podcast every week. And last week we had our first ever guest, by the way. I should remind people of that. We had Dave Brennan from Brefos UK. He joined us last week on the podcast. Fantastic guest. Go and check out that episode. We try and do it every week. Some weeks there's not loads going on and we're a bit like, what should we talk about this week? We'll maybe look at some news articles or whatever else. This week, good grief. I mean, we could probably sit here and talk for about 5 hours.
Yeah, we could.
But we are not going to subject you to 5 hours of us chatting on. But what we are going to talk about today is, the topic that we really couldn't have picked anything else. We're going to be talking about the murder of the poor lad Henry Nowak, which is one of the most shocking things I've ever seen, one of the most shocking things I've ever heard, and we're going to cover that. Pete, when you first heard about this, did you think it was going to go quite as big as it's ended up going?
No, I didn't. To be honest, I hadn't heard anything about it, I don't think, until just over a week ago. I think you messaged me saying this could really blow up. I think I'd seen pictures of him maybe a few weeks ago, but had no idea really until, you know, it all blew up sometime last week, wasn't it?
So this poor young lad and his family, I mean, it's so hard to even imagine what they're going through. But of course, as I texted you that day, this could go massive. It has gone massive. It's made it all the way around the world. It's made it to the Twitter account of the Vice President of the United States. This is huge, and with good reason. We're going to touch on a lot of the different aspects that have been covered. The Telegraph have put together a pretty good explanatory video of what happened. So we're going to watch that video. It's nearly 10 minutes long, so we're not going to watch it all the way through and then react. We're going to pause at various different points and talk about the implications of what's happening here. We're also going to react to a clip or a couple of clips from our erstwhile Deputy Prime Minister and Secretary of State for Justice, who, you know, to get jobs like that, you must be a very intelligent, very together with it kind of person. But we decided to give it to David Lammy because we're a very serious nation, and giving those jobs to a man who's nicknamed Calamity Lammy is obviously what our dear leader decided was the best thing to do. So
it's good then, Mark, because this is going to be a heavy episode, so it's good to have a bit of comedy relief.
Well, exactly. And David Lammy will always provide that for you, whether you want him to or not. Right, some of this is going to be hard to watch. If you've had enough of seeing this story, I totally understand. You're welcome to skip over this episode. But let's go through it.
What's happened to you, right? Been stabbed. You've been stabbed? Whereabouts? Don't think you have, mate.
And that will be the line that lives in infamy. I'm not sure when that officer uttered those words, he realised. Even tweets from police officers are being responded to with those words. I don't think you have, mate.
Yeah.
Even when we saw some of the response in Southampton, which we'll come to later, and said, oh, there's people throwing stuff at the police. Don't think they are, mate. I mean, this has become the meme already. I've been stabbed on December the 3rd, Henry Nowak, an 18-year-old student, murdered. I've been stabbed. I don't think you have, mate.
And yet, Mark, the claim that someone has used a racial slur is believed immediately, no questions asked. In fact, I think in the 999 call that was made, I think I'm correct in saying that when, I've forgotten the murderer's name now, but when he claimed that he used this racial slur, the guy on the other end of the phone, the operator, said, that's all we needed to hear. Yeah.
Exactly. And I think we're going to hear that. So that's a good point. He was still actually legally able to drive the amount he'd drunk. He wasn't drunk. So we see there, that's Digwehr, the murderer, leaves his car. So that's how they knew that it was him that was there. And now we're going to hear the 999 call audio. This is Gurpreet Digwehr, his brother. So at this point, he's already stabbed him 4 times, and his brother calls 999. Wonder why he's calling 999. Hopefully he's calling for an ambulance, right?
It's emergency.
Yeah, we just been attacked by someone racially. Yeah, this. Right. He just attacked it, took his stuff. Sorry? Huh?
We just got attacked racially by some white person. Okay? That's what he's had the stones to call up and say. Why would he do that? That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Because we're an institutionally racist country, aren't we? But yet someone here has the confidence, after stabbing someone 4 times, to then call 999 and know with full assurance they're going to believe me. I'm from a minority group.
But I'm confused though, Peter, because we are a racist country, right? That's what we're constantly told.
Yeah.
So if we are a racist country, then that would mean if you phoned an institution of the state and said, someone's just been racist to me, they would just laugh at you, right? They might even call you a name. So why would he think, to get out of this barbaric stabbing that I've just committed, I'll get my brother to call the state of the racist country that I live in and plead racism. Oh, I think we all know why he did that, but let's just carry on and see.
Okay. Whereabouts are you?
We're on Belmont Road.
Just out in the street, are you?
Sorry?
You're just in the street?
Yeah, literally. I just parked up my car to come home, and he's attacked my brother.
You're talking about verbally or physically?
No, he physically attacked my brother.
Now it's changed.
We wear a turban, and he's just attacked my brother.
Well, he said we were attacked racially by some white person.
Involved?
Now it's evolved into physical attack.
I mean, I don't think even like South Park or SNL or some satirical program could come up with something as on the nose as he's knocked me turban off.
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
No.
The police asked him there, were any weapons used?
Leave him 1 second. I'm calling the police. I'm calling the police. Leave him. Well, restrain him, please. What did he say to you?
Oh, who do you think you are? I was like, look, bro, you're drunk, carry on, walk on. Then I was there, he goes, oh, who do you think has a bad man? I was like, bro, look, I have a bad man.
Gurpreet, what did he say? Was he racially abusive?
The police need a report. Yeah, he was. So basically, he stumbled into my brother.
Yeah.
So do you want to speak to my brother?
No, you carry on. He stumbled into him, and then what did he do?
Okay. So he stumbled into you, and then what?
Yeah, so he's walked into me, stumbled, he's drunk. I've clearly said to him, look, man, you're drunk, carry on about your day, do what you need to do.
And then what?
Then he goes to me, who do you think you are? Who do you think
He
you
goes,
are?
who do you think you are? Who do you think you are to my brother? And then what?
And then he goes, oh, you're this, you're that. Who do you think you're a bad man? I was like, yeah, I'm a bad man. What?
Have I
Then he
done
starts
any
recording
racism
me.
yet?
Right.
No,
Apparently, the worst thing that he said is, "You're this, you're that.
you're a bad man.
You're a bad man."
I was snatched his phone. He's then laid a punch onto me. He's pushed me back and my turban's come off. He started then grabbing my head. So I then grabbed him and then he started pushing me, attacking me even further and everything like that.
At the minute now, he's lying on the floor. He was trying to get away. He jumped over some bins and stuff on the other neighbour's.
That is actually true.
Mm.
He did try to escape. He tried to run away from these murderous psychopaths. He tried to climb over a fence, tried to get onto some bins. Imagine that, while you're bleeding out into your lungs, trying to climb over bins like that.
Oh, it's chilling.
They said his injuries were from falling.
He's left a shoe here as well.
So he doesn't have any injuries.
He's hurt his face. I think he's fallen because when he tried to climb over the bin, he's fallen from the one side of the bin over the gates to the other side.
I think he needs medical attention.
Does he need medical attention, you reckon?
That's
He
amazing.
will,
I
I
hadn't
believe, yeah.
heard that part, that they knew. So the police must have known the guy needs medical attention.
Well, they told him he needs medical attention.
And yet we know, from the body cam, they just pulled up his jumper a little bit up to his belly button just to see that. I mean,
to be honest, Peter, I said this to you just before we started recording. I still have not seen the full body cam footage of this because I'm so upset.
Mm-hmm.
And there's even a part of me who's still going, God, if this was my family, I wouldn't want people seeing this. But bless them, the family have released it for us to see it. But I still haven't seen that. So you will watch me watch that for the first time on this podcast.
Just to confirm, no one's seen any weapons.
No.
I don't know what weapons there
I don't know
would
what
be.
weapons there would be. Okay.
You just said, my dad's just holding him up. So his dad's got hold of him.
and they've already told him he needs medical attention. I didn't realise that.
Yep.
That just makes it so much worse.
He keeps dropping side to side.
Dropping side to side. So I'm just...
So
dropping side to side.
What you've been told is he fell off some bins. Right, let's give them the most latitude here and assume that they've been told by the operator exactly what the operator was told. Mm-hmm. Okay, he's falling side to side. Is that the kind of injury from someone who's fallen off a bin?
Right. Yeah.
That says
Mouthful
unintelligible.
of blood.
He's got a mouthful of blood. That's what he said. He's got a mouthful of blood. What, from falling off a bin?
God, I don't want him.
I can't breathe. He was on the bin on the other side of this gate.
He's jumped over these fences and stuff like that. And he's up
Move
here.
away, mate.
He's obviously he's fallen from there and he slipped from there. His other shoe is left over there, mate.
What's your name, mate?
He's slurring his words.
But also, has anyone
been hurt other than him?
Other than him? So again, they really know he's hurt. Other than him, they know he's hurt.
But also, because we are here because someone's done a racism, we need to make sure that the people who might be victims of done a racism are okay before we deal with this poor lad who's bleeding out on the floor.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's grabbed my brother. He's took my turban off. Started grabbing my head.
Are you injured?
Yeah, I've got.
He's not even hurt.
Look
Alright, just step back a little bit from me. Someone flag these down.
Yeah, me. Look, show me an injury on his eye. I mean, I know this is a bit blurred, but he's saying, yeah, I've been hurt. Look at what? What injury?
Swollen eye, little bruise.
Alright, just step back a little bit from me. Someone flag these down.
Okay, there we go. There's
stabbed.
the first time.
Yeah.
So he's been told he's got a mouthful of blood. He's been told, I have to keep him up because he keeps falling from side to side. And then he says, I've been stabbed. What else are you waiting for?
Yeah.
What are you waiting for? Okay, I knew this was going to be the bit that started making me upset. I am not a trained medical professional in any way, right? I feel like I would know if someone has said I've been stabbed, don't pull them or move them.
Just start yanking them around.
And if I can put two things together, mouthful of blood, well, that's coming from somewhere, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So if you keep pulling him around, you're going to make that worse. So he grabs him and starts dragging him across the gravel.
I've been stabbed.
Second
again.
time, I've been stabbed.
I was in bed asleep. Whenever it just going up there,
Grab his other arm. What's happened to you, right?
His white, lifeless hand being dragged around. 3 times he said, I've been stabbed.
And there've been all these excuses about, it was dark and he had dark clothing and, it wouldn't have been easy to see his stab wounds. I'm like, first of all, it doesn't look that dark with the light from the door, but also, don't you have torches?
Well, also, I mean, there's a reason that when people say, and it happened in broad daylight, that they're surprised because that's a rare thing to happen.
Yeah.
People commit grievous crimes under cover of darkness for a reason.
Yeah.
You're not prepared. You're literally not ready to deal with a life-threatening situation because the sun's gone down.
But Mark, the spell has been cast. There was a racial slur. So just there's no more critical thinking. There's no reasoning.
That is a brilliant way of putting it, and that's how you need to start thinking this. The police are under a spell. Now, don't think we are excusing them and saying, they couldn't have helped themselves, because they could have and should have. But that's how you have to think about this. The spell was cast, and that's now what they're operating under.
Yeah.
You've been stabbed? Whereabouts? Don't think you have, mate.
No, don't think you have. Look at his hand.
Look, that's what. And then you've got nothing. I want to keep you up.
It's horrifying.
Is going to be the image.
Yeah.
The sterile blue gloves. The don't think you have mate. Who are you calling mate? Who are you calling mate? You are an agent of the state. What are you calling people mate for? How about sir?
Yeah. And this is after he's been waiting. He'd been waiting for around about an hour. I mean, from when the attack happened to this point, approximately an hour, I think. All that time, imagine what's going on in his head. Like, where are the police? Where are the police? Where are the police? Like,
when they get there and thinking, relief.
Yeah,
okay.
they're gonna see straight away the blood. They're going to see.
I've managed to keep myself conscious, and they're here now. Everything's going to be fine.
Yeah,
and they were part of what the police statement said was, well, we're definitely going to reflect on the actions of the police, but his injuries were not survivable. Like, he wouldn't have been able to survive them. Now, I don't know whether that's true or not, but what I do know is he managed to keep himself alive for an hour, and within 30 seconds of these goons arriving, he was dead.
Yeah.
So whatever they did to him in that 30 seconds meant he went from conscious to gone.
Yeah.
And there, as a mate, the blue gloves, the handcuffs around a white dying hand.
It is harrowing. It is harrowing. I've seen it a few times, but every time it gets worse and worse, because every time we know a little bit more of what had gone on before, how much they actually knew. Oh.
I've only seen the stills of this bit because, as I say, I couldn't watch it. You are watching me watch this for the first time.
Oh.
Hand?
I can't breathe.
I can't breathe.
I feel like I've heard those words somewhere before.
Yeah.
As they're pulling a man back who's not resisting arrest, he's dying. They're pulling his hands together, forcing them into handcuffs behind his back. And he says, I can't breathe. He said, I've been stabbed 3 times. And now he says, I can't breathe.
Yeah. Those immortalized words.
You hand in the cuff, mate.
Hand in the cuff, mate. Yeah.
This is like...
Just had mouthful of blood there. People the same. What are they cuffing him for? Apparently, like, we're sat here like this is a normal thing. What are they cuffing him for?
It's so true. It's so true. Like, there is no threat. Let's just say everything was true and more. And more. There's clearly no threat now.
He's lying on the floor, blood in his mouth. He's been restrained for an hour. They're turning up. He's not done anything. He can't do anything, and they're putting cuffs on him. Why?
Yeah. Upon just one man's word, okay, and his brother, and yet there's absolutely no questions asked whatsoever at any point as to whether there's any validity to their claims. No questions asked whatsoever. And yet the one who's clearly in need of medical help, the only one is handcuffed.
Do you know one of the maddest facts about this whole thing that I only learned a couple of days ago? You know, Digweed was never put in handcuffs.
Yeah. Yeah.
They never actually put the murderer in handcuffs.
Yeah.
Not once.
Yeah.
The lad who's carrying a sword or a knife or whatever that stupid thing is.
Yeah.
Never put him in handcuffs. But the lad bleeding out on the floor had to be not even just like straight in handcuffs.
Be careful, Mark. 'Cause it sounds like you're insinuating that there's like two what is it? Two tiers, two-tier policing.
Levels, two level Kevin. What is it? What's his name? No, to be fair, I'm only acting in the way that Nigel Farage has told me to act, because I couldn't possibly figure out how to react to this.
No.
Unless a man who I actually have no real care for tells me I'm supposed to react.
Oh, it's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous.
They can all get in the bin.
Put the hand in the cuff, mate. Yeah.
I can't breathe. Again.
This is like... You've been walking...
You can hear you can't hear the exact words, but you can hear them spinning the story now to the other officer on the scene, trying to get away with whatever they're trying to get away with. Mm-hmm. We didn't hear any other words other than the word racist there, but neither did the police officers. Because why would they need to hear any other words? They've heard the magic word.
Mm-hmm.
They've been Obi-Wan Kenobi'd. Racism.
What happened?
I can't breathe again.
He's saying he's been stabbed, so
Where
let's
is it
just
you
check
think
him.
you've been stabbed?
Just in case.
I mean, do we really? I mean, this guy's a racist, don't you know?
Wow,
This lad here, he's done a racism.
Yeah.
Should we maybe check him to see if he's been stabbed? Oh, I don't know. Maybe we should. We probably should. All the while, by the way, all of those people in that family standing around know full well he's been stabbed.
Yeah.
They could tell the police
4
officers.
times.
They could tell them, no, he has been stabbed. Be careful. Be careful with him. No. They're happy for him to bleed out on their driveway. He hasn't been stabbed, they just said.
In the face? Oh, no, but...
She repeats back to him in the face there. I don't know if that's what he said.
Oh, no, but I know you're
go.
telling the truth. I know you're telling the truth. We don't doubt anything you say.
So they said to the police officer, he hasn't been stabbed. And she went, I know, but we have to check. Even racists deserve the small courtesy of being briefly checked to see if what they're saying is true. Please, brother, uncuff me.
Please, brother, uncuff me.
So he's being treated like a piece of dirt on the bottom of their shoe. He's bleeding out. He's saying his last words. And he still refers to the officer as brother.
Oh, man.
Right, keep you on your side, mate. You better retrieve then. Saying to him, keeping him on his side. We were set up when we had, but you know, like it.
Mate, again, honestly,
What's your name,
it goes
mate?
through me.
By the way, you're under arrest. That's for assault. So you do not.
Literally, the only things he's been able to say is, I've been stabbed, I can't breathe, brother,
At the
please
moment-
uncuff me. And you still haven't got his name. He's still not been able to say anything beyond please help, basically. And yet there's still just, no, this is what we got to do. It's a racist.
At the moment, you are under arrest for assault. Have they ascertained there's been an assault?
Anything may harm in defence if you do not mention when questioned. So to which you later rely in court. Anything you do say may be given in evidence, all right?
That is called being read your rights. So the
As
last
you
thing
bleed out on a driveway.
he ever heard was his rights before his whole life was bled out on his murderer's driveway. Or his mum's driveway.
There are so many aspects to how this is two-tiered, right? But I think we can get actually caught in a trap right at the off in saying, oh no, but... And some of the commentary is like, he wasn't even over the limit for driving. And the claims weren't even true. And it's like, wait. Hang on a second. The claims were that he'd used a racial slur and he'd knocked off someone's turban. Now, that's not cool, right? Those things aren't cool. But let's just assume that he actually did those things. This would still be a harrowing, chilling video, and it would still be so unjust. And it should still ignite cold rage in you watching this, even if those things are true. But this is also so two-tiered in that on this one level, we've got all this like low-level crime, like rape, paedophilia, all that stuff. And then the second tier, the really, really bad. Well, there's just one thing that we just cannot have happen. Racism. That's the very worst of all. And there are so many examples, and maybe we'll get into them, that we could point to as evidence that there is actually nothing that we are not willing to sacrifice to avoid being called racist.
Oh yeah.
That not even little girls in the care system in the UK, we're willing to sacrifice them. Mm-hmm. That there is absolutely nothing that we would not sacrifice to avoid being branded a racist.
It's been disclosed that police officers would rather be accused of incompetence than racism. They would rather get a situation like this wrong than get an actually racist situation wrong, because they know which side their bread is buttered. Yeah. They know which one gets them kicked out the force. Mm-hmm. I was reading earlier again today, about the Manchester Arena bomber. There was a security guard who was questioned afterwards who said, I thought he was looking suspicious, but I didn't want to racially profile him.
Yeah. I've got the quote here. I was scared of being wrong and being branded a racist if I got it wrong and would have got into trouble. It made me hesitant.
And can I just say, it would make most people hesitant. The idea that in a perfectly calm, orderly, peaceful situation, hindsight is always very easy to look back at situations like that with. This is so... Even just applying straightforward protocols would have stopped any of this from happening.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Straightforward, basic common sense. But it's been overridden by this parasite of you must not treat people equally under the law. It's in the guidelines. Yeah. Equality is not the goal. It is explicitly to not do that.
Yeah, we have to be really clear. Like, what's happened here is not an aberration.
No, this is the system
and
working
this
as it's
This is not a bug. This is a feature. This is a feature. I've heard quite a lot over the last couple of years. Oh, there's a lot of people waking up now to all the woke stuff, and I've always felt a little bit like, are we being a little bit complacent here? Because you can look. It's not just policing. It's healthcare. It's education. All of our institutions have been completely infected with this disease, and we've got generations now who've been brought up being drip fed this stuff. Really, thank God that Elon Musk bought Twitter, because otherwise we might not even really know about this. That's wonderful. But just because that's happened, it doesn't mean woke is not dead. No, I mean you can't go a day without reading about something. Mm-hmm. What was it this morning? Churchill won't be on banknotes anymore because he's divisive or something. Right.
Who let some lib into the Bank of England? They're everywhere. We're going to have pictures of otters or something. We can't have Churchill.
And yet what isn't divisive, apparently, is dividing everyone up into these two categories that are not scientific, that are not biblical, and labelling one category privileged and therefore guilty, and the other one underprivileged and therefore worthy of more rights than everyone else.
It's going to be sick, I think. I just want you to call it.
We've got this.
We've got this male.
He's just been beat up.
And you've still not got handcuffs on that guy.
Well, who told her he's been beat up? They said he fell off a bin.
But the whole thing is they've known all along that, for example, when they went earlier on in the video, he turned back to the murderer and said, "Has anyone else been hurt?" So they know the guy's been hurt right from the off, not just from the call, but like when they got to the scene, they could. That's what's just maddening.
We've got this male, my mate.
He's been beat up.
Not his pupils aren't reacting. His pupils aren't reacting. It's his pupils aren't even reacting. That is vitally important. We'll get to it in a minute, and you've already touched on it. This is a story about racism, but it's about what anti-racism has done to us, right? Mm-hmm. Racism is only a part of this story because it was used as a get out of jail free card from this guy to try and get away with a stabbing.
Yeah.
This poor young boy was not a racist. And the fact that I even have to utter those words means I have to put his name and the word racist in the same sentence. Mm-hmm. They don't belong there. Mm-hmm. Vikram Digwa is a racist. His brother is a racist. His mother is a racist.
Yeah.
And they knew exactly what side their bread was buttered and exactly what they needed to do to get this lad buried.
But just think like of all of the different options that you would have before you, or that would go through your mind, I suppose, as after committing a murder like this. The fact that would be foremost in your mind is like, oh, this is the one that makes the most sense in terms of what might be give me the best chances of getting out of this.
Yep.
To actually stay at the scene of the crime.
Yeah, I'm just going to stay
after you've
I'm
recorded
hold the guy. Yeah, yeah.
Well, the weapon is still on the premises. Just get your mum to take it round the back or whatever.
This is another thing, Peter. Just to be clear, I know we've got the body cam footage. We haven't seen all of the footage of this.
No.
We may never see it.
No, and it wasn't even. Apparently, it was. I don't think it was even shown in court because it couldn't. I think the judge said it couldn't be used as evidence because it was so harrowing.
What this racist little scumbag did was he took Henry's phone off him and recorded him after he'd stabbed him. So, just to get into the mind of this psychotic, I'm going to stab someone and then I'm going to take his phone, and he recorded him trying to run away.
Yeah.
He got 21 years, by the way. 21 years.
21 years.
They'll say it's whole life with 21 years minimum. You watch, it won't be.
And it's more lenient, isn't it? Because at this point, it's more lenient because of religious exemptions. He was legally allowed to carry that knife.
No, to be totally fair, Pete, I don't think that's true. I think...
Oh, really?
As part of the sentencing, the judge used it as an aggravating factor. So actually, he increased the sentence.
Is that true? Okay.
Yes, just to be completely clear, the fact that he said it in a woke way, but he did, to be fair, apply it. He was like, you've essentially brought potentially violence on your own community by using this religious weapon aggressively.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah,
but still, he only got up to 21 years.
I mean,
it's a whole
just
lifetime,
staggering.
Mark. You're not. Yeah, you don't understand how the system works. They give you these numbers as the public, and then quietly after 12 years, they're out.
Oh yeah.
Apart from the fact that this man should be at the end of a rope, and so should his whole family.
And also, apart from the fact that he'd already been reported to the police by neighbours.
Yeah. We already know that.
Who'd seen him
Yeah.
with a gun.
Maybe it was a
But
ceremonial
we can't do
gun.
anything about it.
What happened on that night in Southampton perhaps shouldn't be a surprise in two-tier Britain. Think of this. The biggest fear a police officer now has going about his or her duty on the street is the fear of being reported for having acted in a way that was racially biased. That fear, now greater than dealing with a dying man living on the ground.
Just to be completely clear, what are we disagreeing with? I'm not a particular fan of Nigel Farage, but what's he said there that's not true?
It's also true. And just one thing about what you said at the beginning, this should not be a surprise. It really shouldn't. I remember having conversations with people like 2021 probably, or towards the end of 2020, after everything that happened with George Floyd. And I remember saying, we've got to be really, really careful with this because one day something's going to happen. It might just be a series of unfortunate events, but you'll have some kind of altercation and there'll be a police officer involved. The skinkers will all be the other way around and things are going to get really, really nasty.
Exactly.
And to be honest, I am just surprised that hasn't actually happened in such a way that it's exploded like this. But I'm also... the other thing I am surprised about is just how close this is to being like the perfect, like the dream scenario for leftists, like the parallels with George Floyd, and yet it's still so different. But this was always going to happen. So people should not be shocked by this.
I begged,
or shouldn't be surprised.
Pleaded with people, don't do this.
Yeah.
Please. I spilled so much ink. I wrote so many pieces on the blog, as it was back in the day. Wrote Facebook posts like, don't do this racializing thing. Mm-hmm. It is not worth it. Martin Luther King had the idea. As Douglas Murray put it, the train was coming into the station. Had it come to a complete stop? No. But it was nearly there. And what have you done? You've poured fuel all over that fire. You want Tommy Robinson to be a leading figure in the UK? Well, keep going. Keep doing this stupid nonsense.
Yeah, you're doing a great job of making it happen.
If you're telling me you don't want Tommy Robinson to be a leading political figure, and yet everything you do makes everything about him become more prominent. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And now this. And we told you this was what was going to happen.
Yeah.
We told you. You weren't listening. You didn't want to listen. You just wanted to look good. Because how easy was it to get rounds of applause for anti-racism, to get ovations, to have your black sticker on your Instagram or whatever stupid thing it was, to be taking the knee. It made you look brilliant. Well, I'm glad that felt good at the time. Now look at what you've done.
Yeah. And I'll say, Mark, I think I've mentioned this before. I am very embarrassed to say that at the beginning, immediately after George Floyd died, I fell for it for a few weeks. Like people close to me who were really, really affected by it, and just the pressure, I suppose, just completely blinded me to even take a step back and think about it. So for a few weeks, I was there completely. I remember I posted a black square, and then once I came to my senses, I went back and deleted it all, because everyone was posting all over Instagram, like, educate yourself. And they'd post these like stack of books, this recommended reading for how you as a white person could educate yourself and, you know, become purer like them. And I read some of Robin DiAngelo. You know, she's like one of the high priests of the social justice, anti-racist religion.
You read that, Robin DiAngelo?
Yeah, and it's tough, Mark. It was tough, but right. I read this. So she first quotes someone else who said, "Anti-racism education recognizes racism as embedded in all aspects of society and the socialization process. No one who is born into and raised in Western settler colonial states can escape being socialized to participate in these relations." That's Van Austdale. Then she says, "Thus, from an anti-racism perspective, the question is not, is racism taking place? But rather, how is racism taking place in this specific context?"
Yep, exactly.
And you wonder how we got to where we are today.
Well, do you know what, right? Nobody ever thought to just take a quick step back and go, who is this woman, right? This woman is a self-confessed racist. She actually confesses to being a racist. Now, I don't know why anyone would take any lectures from a racist, but I certainly won't be.
You know how, one of Freud's things was like, everyone wants to have sex with their mum, and you're like...
Fraud,
no,
that was a
mate.
Freudian slip, ironically. But go on.
Did I say? So,
yeah, Sigmund Freud. Yeah, no, I think you got it right the first time.
And it's like, no, mate, I think it's just you, actually. Well,
yeah, exactly.
With Robin DiAngelo, it's kind of the same thing, where it's like she goes on and on and on about how, we're just inherently racist as white people. And I'm like, you know what? I think it's just you.
Yeah, I think it's you, mate.
Just you.
And if you are, you should probably get that sorted, because the rest of us don't feel like that.
Yeah,
okay?
But we've actually created that world where we don't ask, is racism taking place here? We actually look now at relationship. This is devastating. This absolutely, I've seen it. It devastates relationships because it assumes that the white person has always got racism. It might be buried really, really deep, but it's there. It's present. It's always there.
And people just went,
got to spend,
fine.
Yeah, you've got to spend the rest of your life trying to root it out, which you'll never do.
It's unbelievable. She got absolutely wrecked by Matt Walsh, and she's basically not been seen in public since.
I'm glad.
Since
someone
the
needed
film
to
came
do that.
out, he absolutely wrecked it. I've never seen such an unbelievable, ripping apart of someone and their entire ideology than in Matt Walsh's film, Am I Racist?
It was spectacular.
Watch that film.
It was
It's
spectacular.
unbelievable. And she couldn't cope with it. So she's not been seen in public ever since. What does that tell you? All you people who had D'Angelo and Kendi and all these other people,
I think the other thing
to yourselves?
Just to speak to Christians as well for a moment. Everyone was doing this within a week. Within a week of George Floyd dying, right? And months and months and months before there was a trial.
Oh, yeah.
You had virtually every single institution of any kind across the Western Hemisphere within a matter of 2 weeks publishing their statement on how they were going to be, educating themselves and being better and doing better and their outrage at what happened when we knew virtually nothing about it. So it's okay for that to happen in the world, but for this to be happening in the church, for Christians to be doing this directly goes against what Scripture tells us about justice. Right. So we're told, Proverbs 18:17, the one who states his case first seems right, until the other comes and examines him. And no one, or virtually no one, waited until there was a trial. No. It was like when we knew all we saw was this one angle, one video.
Which, by the way, looked horrendous.
It did. Yeah. It really, really did.
It's like the guy's going, I can't breathe, and you've got your knee on his neck. Get your knee off his neck. Everyone thought exactly the same thing, and why wouldn't you?
Yeah. It seemed right? Exactly. It was the first side to present their case. That's the whole point. And yet here, this is all of this uproar is happening. This is a week after the trial. We're speaking a week after the trial when we actually know a huge amount, even as the public, we know a huge amount about this case. Like, this is not justice. That was not justice in 2020. Even if it had transpired that the way that the story had been spun turned out to be true almost a year later when Derek Chauvin was convicted, even if it had transpired that it was all just as we've been told, it still was not just to do what we did when we knew nothing about it.
But I suggest the rest of us respond to this with pure, cold rage. This is wrong. All the values and standards of living in a free country where everybody is judged equally before the law have been trashed and thrown away. And there are one or two things that need to happen very quickly. The first is that the police complaints operation, the IOPC, needs to get to the bottom of this.
Whoa, an investigation, a report? You mean we shouldn't just burn down an entire neighbourhood?
Right, yeah.
I thought that was how you were supposed to handle these
that
things.
would result in about 25 people dying.
Yeah, we should have 25 more people dead, and we should have all their neighbourhoods looted, and it should
$1 billion
happen,
worth of damage.
$1 billion, but we need to make sure it happens in the very poor neighbourhood where it has happened.
Yeah.
Because God forbid it happens in any of the gated communities. Make sure it's there where poor people are going to have to clean up your mess afterwards. Is that what he just said? Oh no, he called for an inquiry and an investigation. Like, again, I don't need Nigel Farage to tell me how to feel.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Secondly, even through to sentencing, the sentence given was actually lower than the recommended minimum for a sustained, aggressive...
Why do we constantly do this in this country?
I know.
It's every sentence has to get put back through the system to get it done properly. Just do it right the first time. I mean, right the first time is he's hanged the next morning. I realise we don't live in that world. Maybe in the future we will. But even under the guidelines that we've got, for goodness sake, it's a whole life tariff.
Yeah.
He's done. That's it. He's not coming out. Or he shouldn't. I mean, this is what people are getting upset about. Farage is basically he said, I'm going to write a strongly worded letter. And people have kicked off about it.
But the most important thing that needs to change, that has to change, if our society is not to be ripped apart, where communities start to distrust each other and deeply distrust the police and all the other institutions of this country, is we need a change in culture. Enough of anti-white prejudice. A promotion of the idea that white lives matter just as much as black lives.
I can't even believe half of this stuff needs to be said. This is what really gets to me. And again, I had my rant about people back in 2020, 2021. Right? I tried to tell you where this was going, and now people are committing hate acts against Sikhs. It's nothing to do with Sikhs. People are like, some of the first responses were like, we need to have a conversation about the Kirpan. It's nothing to do with please, you're getting distracted. It's not to do with the Kirpan. We need to have a conversation about Sikhism. No, that's actually a distraction. Just put that to one side. We need to have a conversation about knife crime. Oh my word! Like, the guy had an illegal weapon on him. He used an illegal weapon to commit a crime. It's all by the by, and everyone's missing this, by the way. All the lib commentariat are just entirely missing the central point here. There was like some fella who'd sexually assaulted a Sikh woman because he thought she was a Muslim, and then he sexually assaulted her or whatever. Like, the most grotesque, vile. He should be hanged as well, by the way. Just hang him, get rid of him. But they're like, where's the outrage about that? It's not the same. You're literally not understanding what the problem is here. The problem is he cried racism where none existed and got the police off the scent like that.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Because they've been primed to do that.
Because they're primed and ready to react to it, and he knew that, and he acted accordingly.
Yeah.
This is the problem. When we are not equal under the law, when we are not being dealt with justly with fair weights and measures, when the guidelines to the police explicitly say the goal is not equality, it produces this. Honestly, I don't think I've shouted into my microphone anymore on this podcast, but I'm just so wound up. You got that meme that constantly goes around of basically leftist discourse is them pretending not to understand what you're saying. And I think there's a half truth to that. They pretend not to understand what's being said, but actually half of them really just don't understand it. They fundamentally can't get it. I'm so upset.
And I think so many people went hook, line and sinker for the whole anti-racism stuff that to critique it in any way is like to go after someone's religion. People are so under the spell.
Yeah.
And so
they've got all the coping mechanisms in place. It's call you a racist. Did you see that woman on Question Time the other day where her face has become a meme now? Where she's like, it's like, that face is just the personification of I'm not going to reason with you on this. My emotions tell me that you're wrong. And I'm going to signal to everybody else and they're all going to agree with me. It's you can't reason someone out of a position they've not reasoned themselves into. They've been blackmailed. They've been emotionally manipulated into this. They're not good at that. So you confront them with it. You can see it across the whole commentariat, and they just react with fury, deflection, respect the family's wishes. They've said not to escalate this. Don't remember you saying that in 2020. Don't remember any of that. You were calling for de-escalation. Well, I remember righteous anger being used then. Speaking of which, I mean, this is David Lammy. I still can't believe this is a real person. But he's being interviewed. So for our American audience and for the English people who don't know who he is, which I completely understand. This is David Lammy on the left. He is the Deputy Prime Minister and Secretary of State for Justice. The guy on the right is Trevor Phillips. Honestly, sometimes people say we're living in a simulation. I just think maybe you're right. The guy on the right is Trevor Phillips, who is on the whole, a fantastic journalist and interviewer. He's always worth a watch. This is on Sky News. This is after J.D. Vance, the Vice President of the United States, had tweeted about the case. Just watch this interview. I mean, let's just watch it.
We're friends, but you don't really know what you're talking about when it comes to our country. Well, let me play you something. This is the Prime Minister in 2020.
Can I start by expressing shock and anger?
This is our current Prime Minister, Keir Starmer. He was leader of the opposition then. So he wasn't the Prime Minister then.
Every time he speaks to President Trump, he will convey to him the UK's abhorrence about his response to the events.
Why is it okay for Starmer, and by the way, your colleagues, Shabana Mahmood, Sadiq Khan, all to express death about a view about a death in an American city?
Important point. They all jumped on the bandwagon before the trial in a thing that had nothing to do with us. Literally nothing.
J.D. Vance gets ticked off by you for commenting on a very similar tragedy here in the UK.
Couple of things. Overwhelmingly, the response to George Floyd was horror right across the globe. I remember we were all at home during the pandemic. It was horror.
But that's not the question I'm asking.
I'm explaining the context. That's the first context. The second context, of course, is that we are in government. The J.D. Vance is in government. When you're on the backbenches or in opposition.
Were you saying that when Farage reacted?
It's just astonishing. It's amazing.
They all ticked off Farage. They should have been going, it's okay, he's in opposition.
Yeah. Go for it.
This guy can't even believe he's a real person. Oh, well, it was fine for us because we weren't in government. Okay. So when Starmer told the Prime Minister, convey to President Trump our abhorrence, he could do that because he's in opposition.
But I think there is a distinction.
It's okay for the opposition to be irresponsible.
No case is exactly the same. But but here we have a family.
There we go. It's just a playbook. They just repeat the lines.
But what they're doing, sorry, Mark, is that they keep using, this phrase, respecting the family's wishes. But that's just one. The family didn't want this to be politicized and to cause division. Yeah, they did also say other things.
Oh yeah,
they made it quite clear.
The family were clear, and I would just like to say that if the family had said, we would like everybody to respond with pure cold rage, imagine they'd said that. Then what? We would like everyone to respond by burning down Minneapolis. Sorry, Southampton. What? So would David Lammy be saying, "What the family have asked for a very specific response. We should honour them by burning down Minneapolis, Southampton."
But here we have a family who've asked for a specific response. I think it was right for me to remind the Vice President, and actually also to note the response in Parliament. The Conservatives, the Liberal Democrats, the Greens, SNP, Labour, all broadly in the same place.
Now, that's not the flex that he thinks it is.
Mm-hmm.
What he's basically said there is, the entire establishment agree that you oiks are getting a bit above your station.
Mm-hmm.
So we all in the establishment would like you all to calm yourselves down.
Yeah. The disdain for just like the normies, just ordinary people.
There was a clip from an MP on another programme. I should have brought it up, where she was like, "Oh, it's such a shame when Nigel stood up to be so divisive because the mood in the house was one of everybody coming together." That's the problem. You're all the same.
Yes. Yeah.
You all believe this stuff. All of you.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you like Farage or not, and I've said it before, I don't. But the fact that you can't even cope with someone going into the House of Commons and actually raising what people are thinking about this in there, you go, "Oh, we couldn't possibly have such a lack of decorum in the House of Commons."
Yeah.
You're literally giving away exactly what everyone thinks of you.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily make it right, but I want to come back to that. One of the reasons I was interested in what J.D. Vance said was that he used a really interesting phrase, and it's an unusual phrase. Here's what he said. Each time a life like his is lost, the proper response, the only response, is righteous anger. I looked up what you said about the death of George Floyd. We have to find a way to transform this righteous anger into meaningful reform. I think this is quite interesting because righteous anger...
But honestly, I mean, we look at this going, ha, 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 caught you. They don't care. They're not interested. No. There's whole accounts on X set up just to point out what people have said before that entirely invalidates the things that they're saying today.
Mm-hmm.
They just keep doing it.
Yeah.
There's accounts called This You, ? And it just quote tweets them.
Right.
Where they've done the exact opposite before. They're not bothered. Yeah. Watch him try and weasel out of this now.
There's a phrase that you and I understand. And I wondered if J.D. Vance had actually been taking some advice from you.
I do understand that phrase. And of course, a sort of deep pain and anger as a result of the death. But let me just give you an example of this. That's my point.
You say that's fine, and then you tell, Mr. Farage, who's apparently now beyond pale, for saying he didn't call for people to go and do things. He said that response that he would like to see is rage, not that different from righteous anger.
Nigel Farage was speaking into the protest. And
so, a despicable act of criminal damage. I mean, yeah, a few lads went to Southampton and threw a few bins around.
Yeah, all the while, like 5-6 years ago, we were being told all the time
exactly
that riots are the language of the unheard.
Riots are the language of the unheard.
all over social media. People were saying that.
Yeah, just excusing it. A few lads go around and throw some bins around in Southampton, which you shouldn't do. I'm not gonna clutch my pearls about it when these people were quite happy with neighbourhoods being burned to the ground and people dying as a result of this righteous anger that they said was perfectly justified. Oh, you had something thrown at you? Don't think you have, mate.
Not a responsible thing to do. That's the
He said it before. He issued his video before the demonstration. Let's not get into this Trump situation where we reverse the order of events.
Trevor, there's also his performance in Parliament at Prime Minister's question.
Yeah, but you're attacking him before all of that.
After that. No, I think
my point is this. You say righteous anger is a good thing. Farage says people should feel rage because of this thing. Isn't it just a little...
Do you know what? Honestly, right, I'd have actually had a lot more respect for this idiot if he'd have just come out and gone, do you know what? You've got a point. Either I was wrong then and I really regret saying stuff like that, or no, I completely understand why people feel the way they do today. And I'm not gonna police what people feel or whatever. I'll hold my hands up. This is inconsistent. But what am I expecting, Pete? He's a Labour politician.
What worries me though is I wouldn't expect anything else, because there are a lot of people who get their news today from social media, and honestly, those who aren't on X might not really know much about all this. Probably don't really care. But just the amount of people who are just completely silent, even those that do know, just completely silent. And yet we were told a few years ago, silence is... What was it, Mark? Silence is good. Silence. Feel like it rhymed. Beginning with B.
Pilence. Silence is grilence.
Milence.
Yeah.
Yeah. People have got nothing to say about it, and then it's that worries me more than these politicians, because I wouldn't expect anything different from them.
The murder of Sarah Everard. I think the government's violence against women's strategy, the violence against women's strategy.
Why can't you have righteous anger and rage about this killing? Yeah. Why is it so bad?
No. It's about the response. The response that's been asked for by the father, by the family, is common sense, calm. It's proper learning in relation.
Knife crime. What are you on about? Knife crime. Yeah. Idris Elba was saying the other day, maybe we should take the pointy ends off knives. Oh yeah, that was incredible. That solves the whole problem. They're just determined to see the wrong thing, they just won't look at what the actual problem is. Maybe if we take the edges off knives, people won't think to hit them with the sharp edge of it.
Different.
Not to caricature the.
Why was George Floyd different? Why were you calling for calm and rational response?
There we go.
Trevor,
again.
No two cases are alike. I do want to say that. No two cases are alike, and I think you know.
No. But this is a serious point. I can show you a dozen quotes. I can show you a quote from. I've got it. Shabana Mahmood. Anger. Sadiq Khan. Fury. You guys seem to be ready to be furious with one set of things, but not on another.
Well, let me push back hard. Of course I'm angry, upset,
Where's the butt?
deeply troubled that this young man has lost his life as a human being. That's got nothing to do with the colour of his skin. He died horrendously.
Well, then don't tell other people they shouldn't feel rage. Don't tell other people they shouldn't feel rage if you do. Which I think, by the way, is the right response.
Yeah, of course. It is then the responsible thing is the action that flows from that. That's what happened after the murder of Sarah Everard. That's what can happen here. That's why there are the inquiries taking place. It is not to ask people to take to the streets, to damage, to go after the police.
Nobody's done that. Who told people to go on the streets and damage?
Right.
Name names. If you're going to make that accusation... Make the accusation.
As I've just said, there was a big distinction in Parliament last week against both the Conservatives, Liberal Democrats and the Labour Party, and the way that Nigel Farage and Reform sought to pursue this subject, using the sorts of language and evoking, frankly, a similarity.
I said it earlier. If you want more Tommy Robinson, carry on like this.
Yeah.
Just carry on. Just keep going. You'll get more of him. You obviously want more of him in public life. Just keep going.
Well, I don't think they're.
But he's saying that it's about the response. Sorry, Pete. It is about the response. The response has to be to root out this stupid racism, anti-racism nonsense from the ground. Get it out. Get it out of the guidelines. Get it out of the legislative frameworks. Get it out of the laws. Get it out. It is toxic. It's poison. It's absolutely destroying us. It's going to create racism. This is what they cannot get their heads around. They've got this base level assumption that everyone is racist, so they're trying to stop it. It's like, but what if you're wrong? Honestly, I feel like I've shouted and screamed about this for years, and they just don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know if that they really don't want to see more Tommy Robinson and all of that, because then they can just slander. They just slander everyone who remotely resembles those people or is saying the same kinds of things, and it's just it's just divide and conquer, isn't it? You just call them all thugs, far right, all the same things we've always heard. And to be fair, it's worked for a long time. You keep
using a tool, it blunts. You keep using the word racism. Again, I don't know how many times I've tried to explain this to people. You keep using it. Eventually, we're going to need it, and we're not going to be able to wield it because you've spent decades blunting the edge of it. And then as soon as actual racists come along, we won't have a word for them because you'll go, they're racists, and you're like, so am I apparently.
Yeah, the guy's racist. What isn't? Who isn't?
The countryside's racist. You've been saying that about me for years, and I'm obviously not. So I don't even know what you're talking about anymore. No, but these people really are. Really are what? You've worn it out, and then you'll get problems. Then you'll get, and then it'll be, well, told you people were racist. No, you created it. You've literally created it. It was down to its last breaths, and you blew on it and reignited the fire. You morons. Right. I want to get to this before we close. I know that we're running long on this one, so this is going to be a slightly longer episode, but we did want to make sure we covered this fully. There's been a piece just came out earlier today. It was not long before we started recording by Jamie Bambrick, and this was in Premier Christianity. Fair play to them for putting this in. So Jamie Bambrick, we are fans of his. He's got a YouTube channel. Go and check out Jamie Bambrick. He wrote this piece. Henry Nowak's murder exposes the uncomfortable sin of racial partiality. I'm just going to read through this, and we'll maybe discuss it a little bit. Henry Nowak died pleading for help while police focused on allegations that he'd made a racist remark. Jamie Bambrick contends that his death exposes the dangers of recent policies of race, which have impacted both the church and wider culture. He's calling on Christians to return to the biblical principle of equal justice for all. Correct. Right, so this is Jamie. Imagine the scene. Police receive a call that an 18-year-old Indian man has racially insulted a family of white people. Officers arrive to find the Indian man pale as a ghost and barely conscious. The first thing they're told as they walk up to the man is that his mouth keeps filling with blood. Other witnesses have called the police saying there's been a stabbing. The Indian man pleads for an ambulance saying, I can't breathe, I've been stabbed. Officers laugh it off saying, don't think you have, mate. When one officer suggests checking him anyway, a white family member insists, there's no wound. The policewoman replies, I know, because of course he's the offender here. But we have to check. They briefly lift his shirt up to his belly button and no further, performing no proper check, before roughly throwing the man to the ground, proceeding to arrest him for the alleged racist remark and cuffing him. As they do so, he drowns in his own blood and dies. Meanwhile, and we forgot to mention this, by the way, the police are searching his phone to find evidence. They did that. They actually did that.
Wow, they did that.
They went to try and find evidence of racism. But this is Jamie's scenario. They look to find evidence of anti-white racism. Why? Because their training demanded they prioritise the white accusers over a non-white victim in any racial dispute. Later, it emerges the white stabber's family colluded. They not only failed to call for an ambulance, but called the police to hide their tracks, concealing the fact that the young man was in any way injured. The mother of the family removed the murder weapon to hide it. On body camera footage, the brother urged the killer to fabricate a self-defense story. Reverse the races, and this story matches the final hour of 18-year-old Henry Nowak. On the 3rd of December 25 in Southampton, Henry, a white British university student walking home after a night out, was stabbed 5 times by 23-year-old Vikram Digwa, a Sikh man carrying a 21-centimetre knife. Digwa falsely claimed Henry had racially abused him and assaulted him. Police from Hampshire and Isle of Wight Constabulary, primed by years of anti-racist training that treats accusations of racism as uniquely heinous, handcuffed the dying teenager on the ground. Henry repeatedly told them, "I've been stabbed. I can't breathe." Officers dismissed him, and he died at the scene. Despite calls from many on the left that this should not be politicised, something I note they never said about the death of George Floyd, the fact remains that this was not merely a random act of violence, but a politically precipitated murder. For decades now, white people have been accused of bearing white privilege, unconscious bias. We've been told that the systemically racist systems of our country are the primary cause of any and all suffering endured by ethnic minorities. As such, there have been endless initiatives to prioritise the well-being of ethnic minorities against white people. The race action plan of the police force in question here lays bare this mindset. Officers are trained repeatedly to focus particularly on the ethnic minorities and reduce disproportionality between arrest rates for minorities and whites, regardless of well-known per capita crime rate disparities. Don't know if you saw, there was a bit of a kick-off recently because I think it was someone in Reform had said there was a new policy around screening for prostate cancer more with black men because black men genuinely have a higher risk rate of prostate cancer. So they're screening black men more. Okay. And one of the reformers, this is ridiculous. Why should it be different for... No. And in that case, I went, well, no. If statistically black men are more likely, then you'd screen them more. And there's problems with screening. If you over-screen, you can have false positives, which is also bad. So you don't want to do too much. So I was like, well, I don't mind that. Can we apply that to arrest rates and per capita of crime? Whoa.
Right.
Well, hang on, isn't it the same thing? Isn't it the same thing? I ask it innocently. I ask an innocent question. I agree with...
Can't even ask the question, Mark.
Well, this is the thing. I've committed the crime of noticing, Peter. You'll have noticed that. Or you noticed as well. Gosh, we're both doing it. But try not to notice. But sorry, I agree. We should screen. If black men are more likely to have prostate cancer, they should be screened more. What's the problem? But does that not apply to stop and search, for example? Well, that's racial profiling. What? Yeah. Well, but so isn't the prostate screening racial profiling? You tell me what the rules are. What am I supposed to do?
Well, this was the whole part of the scandal around the rape gangs, wasn't it? That I think in one council, like 67% of rapes, the ethnicity wasn't recorded.
Yeah.
Precisely for these reasons, because they were very uncomfortable about what the findings might be, what the statistics might show.
Exactly. This piece goes into some incredible detail. But I'm going to post a link to this in the description. But I do just want to pull out some of his final conclusions here, right? Because he calls out a few different people, rightly so. Read the full thing. But listen to this conclusion from Jamie. This is not mere cultural accommodation. It is theological error. Anti-racist policies that treat white Britons as inherently privileged or suspect, while framing ethnic minorities as perpetual victims, requiring special protection, invert the principle of biblical equality. They replace the Imago Dei with identity hierarchies. The church, called to be salt and light, has instead baptized secular critical race ideologies that divide rather than unite. By prioritizing racial equity metrics over impartial justice, it has sinned against God and against the white British population. The British Church must repent. Affirmative action in hiring, race-based training that pathologizes whiteness, and victimhood narratives that ignore anti-white prejudice must be renounced as unbiblical. Leaders should publicly confess how alignment with cultural fashions has distorted the gospel of reconciliation. Yeah. Henry Nowak was not given dignity in death. He died pleading for help, while officers shaped by race-conscious doctrine, treated him as the perpetrator. If the church continues down this path, embracing partiality under the guise of justice, it will not only fail the nation, it will answer to the impartial judge. Repentance is urgent. White lives matter too, because all lives are made in God's image. And that is exactly right. Bravo, Jamie.
Absolutely.
I still see it as some sort of fever dream, the 2020-21 in the church. The church we were at the time, I just remember looking around the room as this stuff was talked about from the front. People standing ovations and
lapping it up. Yeah.
Lapping it up. And I was like, have you all gone absolutely insane? What are we doing here? I thought, okay, out there, I knew I was going to get it out there, but in here,
yeah,
are we really doing this? Are we really doing this? You literally don't see it.
I really like something that Vodi Bochum said about social justice and all of these different terms, critical race theory. He named a few. You know, they're all kind of part of the same overarching narrative and worldview. But he kind of took a quote from I've forgotten the film, but there's this quote from a film which says you keep using that word.
Yeah.
I don't think it means what you think it means.
That's right. Yeah.
And it's just like that with social justice.
Yep.
It's just like that with critical race theory. And, you know, because we all automatically think like, well, I don't want to be about social injustice, and racial reconciliation sounds really good. And why wouldn't I want to be anti-racist? But these are all Trojan horses. They really are. Something that's really interesting that James Lindsay said around 2020, I think, shortly after all the riots. He said in an interview that in the heyday of his like angry atheist phase, if you'd have asked him like, okay, how do we destroy the church? He said, I would have trained up woke pastors and sent them out into the churches.
Correct.
And that's what I would do if I wanted to destroy the whole thing.
And that's what happened.
And unfortunately, like Christ will build his church and the gates of hell will not prevail. But that doesn't mean that lowercase churches are not going to collapse.
Correct.
And that doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that in this generation there's going to be a church that actually takes the battle to the gates of hell. Right, so we need to repent. I said earlier, I fell for this at the beginning and realized how stupid it was, how this really is demonic. This is an ideology that needs to be taken captive, and it needs to be held up against the light of Scripture, and we just have to repent of it. But I mean, we touched earlier on like some of the motivations, I think, for people adopting all of this. And using all of this language. And I know that there are people who are just compassionate, they have empathy, they want to be kind, and they're well-intentioned in doing it for the right reasons.
Oh yeah.
That's not an excuse. That's not an excuse. And there are also people like I think you hinted at that really liked the applause and the plaudits from the world.
Loved
you know?
it.
And friendship with the world is really alluring. Yeah, it feels. Yeah, but there's a verse in Jude. in Jude 1 verse 16, it talks about showing favoritism to gain advantage, and that is what I think some people did and are doing by promoting all of this stuff in the church. It is showing favoritism. It's partiality. God hates it. God hates it. It's totally unjust, but it will gain you friendship with the world.
It will, and apparently that's really alluring. I mean, I don't know. By God's grace, I just don't seem to have this same desire to be liked, but I just don't care. My wife tells me I seem to be like sociopathically incapable of caring what everyone else thinks of me. I mean, good. By God's grace, that seems to be true. I'm not interested in friendship with the world. I couldn't care less. Even the world has to wake up to this. The world has to realize what's going on here. They've been taken over. There's a virus taken over their brain. Their good intentions have allowed it in. The Trojan horse has scattered the soldiers out into the city of your mind. And it's going to take work to get them back and to kill this off. Yeah. But you've got to kill it off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
it is going to take some time because it's every institution, isn't it? And it's like we said, it's generations that have been brought up on this stuff.
Yep.
And even for us, it's affected the way that we sometimes like approach things and start to.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but he hadn't actually used a racial slur. Like it wouldn't matter even if he had. Like it
wouldn't
you
matter.
still can't go and stab a guy 5 times.
Nope.
And then just leave him to bleed out for an hour.
Yeah, so many people have had this indoctrinated into them. And we now have the invidious task of trying to persuade people back out of it, but raising the next generation so that they're not poisoned by it. I mean, I remember walking around during COVID with my 2020, so he'd have been 2, 3, my first child, walking around with him, and he was going, why has everybody got these things on their faces? Why is everybody walking in such a funny way? I was like, because everyone's lost their minds. I said that to my 2-3-year-old. Everyone has lost their minds. And you actually remember this. I want you to actually remember what you're seeing. He won't. But this is what happens when a society collectively loses its freaking mind.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Don't fall for it. Never wore a mask. Walked whatever way around the supermarket I bloody well wanted to. Don't fall for it. It's like, and now I have to train my children to do the same thing. Everyone, train your children. Don't fall for this. Don't fall for the opposite as well, by the way, which is, oh, well, I guess we can be racist now then, which I'm seeing
Right.
some people
Yeah.
start to pick up on. Again, you caused this. You made it happen. I knew this was going to happen. Just knew this was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely
Well,
knew it. Try to tell everyone.
All that we are seeing now is these policies and these ideologies just working their way out into everyday life.
Yep.
Like it's hard actually to remember just how mental 2020 was.
Mm-hmm.
But like I think we're only just beginning to see, only now are we beginning to see just how destructive, just how poisonous, and just how demonic all of this social justice, critical race theory, anti-racist stuff is.
Correct. Exactly right. Well, bit of a longer one this time. Hopefully you've enjoyed the episode. Please do give us a nice big thumbs up on the episode. Comment down below your thoughts. As I say every time, if you're going to send us abuse, I will block you. Not interested. But get involved in the conversation. Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. Please do subscribe to the channel. We are fast approaching 200 subscribers. We'd love to get there as soon as possible. If you've been watching us for a little while and haven't subscribed yet, you know what to do. If you want to get more content like this, please hit that notification bell and you'll be notified every time we release a new video. But that is going to be it for us for this episode. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.